Okay, another random disconnect on my end. I'm starting to lose hope that this problem can be solved before I even move house.
We just saw. For our final guest tonight, please join me in welcoming from Larian Studios CEO Sven Vinke, and from Dungeons & Dragons at Wizards of the Coast, the creative director of Dungeons & Dragons, Mike Merles, to talk about Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah! Now, this was only just recently announced. How did this partnership come about?
We went to see Wizards of the Coast at the end of Divinity Original Sin 1.
Yeah.
That was back in 2014. And I tried to convince them back then that they should give us the Baldur's Gate 3 license. And they said, but we had a long chat about what the vision would be for the game. And then we kept on bumping into each other. And then suddenly in 2016, I get a phone call from Nathan Stewart, who's the big boss of Mike and the head of Dungeons & Dragons. He said, you need to come to Seattle right away. We're going to have dinner in a very shady restaurant. And he had this big stack of paper with him. And on it was Baldur's Gate 3. And in it was pretty much everything that we talked about. And he says, I'm going to present this to my board. Do you still want to do it? I said, yeah, of course I still want to do it. And then a couple of weeks later, we started negotiating. And here we are.
I mean, what does the Baldur's Gate franchise mean to you, Mike?
Oh, to me, it's the crown jewel of D&D computer games, right? I mean, for me personally, Baldur's Gate, the original one, was finally I had the chance to actually play a D&D campaign rather than having to run them for all my friends. So it means so much to us. Baldur's Gate, it's such fantastic storytelling, and it's so exciting to see it come to not only a new generation of gamers, but for the gamers who remember the 20 years it's been since the original, the first two in the series. So it's incredibly exciting. And for us, it really is. It's such an important part of the D&D mythos as a whole.
And we got a chance to see the trailer. Talk to me about some of the story elements, the world elements. What are things we're going to see in Baldur's Gate 3?
Well, we're only talking about what's in the trailer right now, but obviously you're going to go to the city, because we start with the city. You start outside of the city, actually. There's going to be mind flayers. They're very nasty. You are seeing in the trailer the process of ceremorphosis, as we call it. It's accelerated, so that's not normal.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of iconic creatures, iconic characters, iconic places, and that's as far as we go.
I'm curious about some of the gameplay elements, because obviously, there's just been a big resurgence of Dungeons & Dragons, tons of broadcasts on Twitch. I mean, how do you translate some of the insane things that players want to do into, what has to be a structured computer game?
So we started with the player handbook, which is basically the basic rule set of Dungeons & Dragons.
Which player handbook? Which edition?
5th edition. 5th edition.
Right. Yeah.
And so we ported as much as we could to the video game. We looked at what worked really well. We looked at the things that didn't work that well, because it is a video game, and this was made for tabletop gaming. And so we started modifying those things, and then we had to add things on top of it, because if you play tabletop, you have a game master, and you say, well, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then the game
I want to
master
start a fight with a pigeon. And he's like, okay, roll for dexterity.
Exactly, that's it. So we had to add systems to make that possible within the game. But we've gone very, very far.
Yeah, I mean, can you give an example of like a crazy moment that a player might do that you could actually play out in the game?
Well, I could, let's say that we get into a fight because you ask a nasty question, I don't want to answer it. And I take the chair over there, I put it on fire, smash it on your head. Just as an example.
That's just an example, this is fine, we're just talking,
These are things that we have to put systems into the game for to do it, which are not necessarily going to be described inside of the book.
Interesting. And I mean, like, Mike, in terms of your role, speaking to Larian Studios, you have tons of data of all the sorts of things that players do. What's the sort of information that you provide in assistance?
Well, really what it comes down to is providing the story support. We think of Dungeons & Dragons, the universe of D&D. It's like a toy box for dungeon masters and players to go into and build their own stories. So working with Larry and working with Sven, a lot of it was just opening up that toy box and sharing it. And giving that kind of guidance. Like I remember one of our first meetings, we just laid out a map of Baldur's Gate and the Sword Coast and asking a lot of questions, like what kind of story do you want to tell? Where do we want to go?
Ubisoft will be showing beyond good and evil too.
And then in terms of the system support, what does it mean in terms of the story for each character, for each character race, each character class, so that if you have your favorite class and it's in the game, you really feel like you're taking on that role that you love so much from the tabletop. It's really coming to life in an authentic way in Baldur's Gate 3.
And we're going to talk in a moment about Baldur's Gate 3 release dates and whatnot, but we have a second game that we want to talk about on a new technology known as pencil and paper. I understand that there is a tabletop prequel coming for Baldur's Gate.
Exactly. So in Baldur's Gate, we think there's one saga, all the different games coming together to tell one grand story of this city. So on September 17th, we're releasing our next tabletop campaign, Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus, and it is the next chapter in the Baldur's Gate saga, and it's a prequel to Baldur's Gate 3. So if you haven't played a Baldur's Gate game since Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, this is your chance to check out on the history. It's been about 100 years since the events of Baldur's Gate 2.
Yeah.
So this will give you a chance to check in on the city, to see what's going on, its current state, who the movers and shakers are. We also feature a complete levels 1 to 13 campaign that takes you from the mean streets of Baldur's Gate to the depths of hell itself. And sort of pose to the players a question: do you want to redeem Baldur's Gate or send it to damnation? So we're putting that right in players' hands to make that choice.
Well, I have to ask Sven, it's a question on a lot of people's minds. What can you talk to us about expected release timeframes?
So people have been waiting for it for a long time.
Yeah.
They're going to have to wait a little bit more when it's ready. This is the game that we want to play, so we want to make sure it's really, really good. And then when that's the case, then we'll release it.
Well, I know a lot of people have been waiting a long time, and I think I speak for a lot of people here when I say, take your time. If the Divinity Original Sin games are any indication of the quality, it's going to be fantastic and worth the wait. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me on stage.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ben and Mike talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Goodbye. Goodbye, guys. Why are they leaving? Well, it's because the PC gaming show has officially concluded. Let's bring up on the stage the fantastic Frankie Ward. Come here, Frankie.
Hello. Well, thank you so much, Sean. Hasn't this audience been absolutely fantastic today?
Guys, thank you so much for coming out to the 5th annual PC Gaming Show. We want to give an enormous thanks to all of you who tuned in live. We want to, of course, thank all of you who personally showed up this morning, and of course the sponsors who helped make this possible: Epic Game Store, iWin, Frontier, Funcom, Paradox Interactive, Hovercast, Perfect World, Rebellion, Tripwire, and Samsung. As you know, PC gaming is a platform. It's not a publisher or developer, so these sponsors are essential for letting us put on this show every year. Thank you so much. And I gotta ask, Frank, any titles you're excited about?
Well, I do love a baby elephant, so definitely Planet Zoo, and slightly more awkwardly then I also want to eat things, maybe elephants included, so Man-Eater, of course.
I'm personally looking forward to Songs of Conquest, and as you heard, there's games coming out all across 2019 and into 2020. We hope you all have a fantastic E3. It officially begins tomorrow. Big shout out to all the other press conferences. Hello again, Drop Frames. Good to see you 2 years in a row. We hope you all have a fantastic time at E3 and go play some games and make some friends. See you next year. Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Okay. 10 minutes till Ubisoft's conference. Once again, it's continuing the same kind of level for into Microsoft's conference.
Watch this. Think he can't carry his team while streaming in high resolution? All the while recording a once-in-a-lifetime win? Watch this. Think leveling up only happens in-game? Watch this. On Intel Core i7, they'll rise to every challenge.
No,
now it's your turn. Game, record, stream without
No,
compromise
thank you.
on Intel Core i7.
I'd rather go for the AMD. I know this is yeah, we've seen this game. But we've seen this trailer, right, I should say.
When my father saved my life, he told me never to forget who I am, where I come from.
So once again, yeah, it's continuing with the same kind of energy from Microsoft.
Nobody even wants to know my
It's all good.
name. Getting attached.
It's all good, but nothing exceptional. I mean, even here, I was actually disappointed by how little Borderlands 3 showed, even though they're hyping it up. How little Warframe showed us. I mean, they're just saying that the stuff that we saw at TechnoCom last year is coming out in a month. That's pretty much it. All the other games, there were some interesting games, like Bloodline 2, Midnight Ghost Hunt, made by the one-man team, Unexplored, with that 2D top looking down exploration. Age of Wonders Planetfall looks wonderfully weird and still having some depth, complexity. Definitely gonna be a cool game for those on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Well, there's Shenmue 3, so people have been waiting for that shit. Well, I can stop this one. And then we have Remnant from Ashes, if I remember what was the name of the game. Where it's like, it seems like an MMORPG, but you can just play like up to 3 players. It looks dope, and I would have loved to see that game on the Nintendo Switch. So it's too bad that's not coming to it. But then again, like I said, we might have this kind of announcements all in Nintendo's press conference that's coming tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So less than 24 hours, and then we will know everything Nintendo has to offer us for the next year. Unfortunately, I wish we were going to see more about Metroid Prime 4, but they had to reboot the game. Like, they had to restart the game from the beginning. Something was wrong with what they had made, it seems. Guess we'll never see what happened with that one, but we'll see what comes next. I'm hoping to see from Nintendo, of course, Luigi's Mansion 3, Bayonetta 3, I like, of course, the next fighter in Super Smash, as well as the evolutions of the starter Pokemon. Just that. But of course, I know there'll be some surprises, and we will also get to check out that Demon X Machina, which should be coming out this year, and therefore soon, since no one wants to release a game around Pokemon. At least Nintendo wouldn't want games exclusive to their consoles releasing around Pokemon. They'll just cannibalize each other. Well, Pokemon would eat them up, rather. That's how it would be. Anyways, let's get ready for Ubisoft. Well, I guess Ubisoft will be on this channel too. Ubisoft should be starting. Let's check. Let's check again. Not to make the same mistake like I did earlier. Ubisoft is starting at 9. At the same time as Limited Run Games. I wonder why Limited Run Games decided to do that. Unless they didn't have any other choice, maybe. Limited Run Games. Oh, they're the ones who... They're Ukulele. Okay. Wait, Psychonauts? Psychonauts gets a limited run for PS4 this Friday. Oh, yeah, that's what Limited Run Games is. I see. Yeah. Huh. Well, those on PS4 are lucky. They'll be able to play Psychonauts. They can get Psychonauts and play it before the second one comes out. For all those who missed it. Anyways, Ubisoft in 5 minutes, so I'll be cutting the stream off and getting prepared for the Ubisoft press conference. See you in a bit, and thank you for watching. This is Manju Naihatsu going out.